Welcome to my channel where we cover the lore of video games. We cover all kinds from the mainstream to the indie, so I hope you enjoy your stay, and welcome to the Chronicler of Lore. Since the decision's been made to head off and fight a dragon, Levitz thinks it'll be a good idea to go and see his mom before he sets off. Considering the fact that he may be being digested by a dragon in the next few weeks, that's probably a good idea. And since Dart and Shauna have nowhere else to go, Levitz brings his new friends with him to meet the woman who birthed them. She's very happy to see him since she hadn't heard from him in a while. He makes it seem like he was just held up because of all of the fighting, and not because he was in a prison a few days away from being executed, because that's just not the type of thing that you tell your mom. Especially considering the fact that Levitz's father had been a knight too, and he had died in battle. When she sees Shauna, she figures that Levitz has finally found himself a wife on his travels, which is great because she wants grandchildren, but since Shauna's Dart's girlfriend, even though he seems not to know it yet, she's kind of off the market. Once that little bit of awkwardness is out of the way, Levitz lets his mom know that he's being sent to the town of Hoax and he needs to leave in a little while, but she convinces him to at least stay for lunch since it's almost done. Shauna goes to help her get everything set up, which leaves Dart and Levitz with nothing to do while they wait. So Levitz gives Dart a tour of the giant house that's a sign that Albert pays his knights very, very well. Levitz had always wanted to be a knight just like his father, and he would always go on the roof when he was younger so he could stare at the castle, dreaming about the day when he had earned as much honor as his dad had. He achieved his dream, and when he realized just how hard it was, it gave him a new respect for his dad. The two of them talk until the meal's ready, and after they eat, Levitz figures that it'll be for the best if they just rest and head out in the morning. There's no point in leaving at the dead of night since the town of Hoax will still be in just as much danger in the morning, so the group enjoys one last good night's sleep before they head out. When they make it to Hoax, the first thing they do is go and check in with the man in charge, a knight named Kaiser. He and Levitz know each other from way back, so after he gives his condolences for Levitz's lost squad, he gets introduced to Dart and Shauna. He's already heard about how Dart rescued Levitz from hell in a prison, even though Levitz was in the process of escaping when Dart got there. Regardless of the details, the one thing he knows is that Dart can fight, and since his people are still getting prepped for the attack from the Sandoras, he won't turn down any help, especially since he heard that they might use the dragon to attack. He was debating between hitting them first or waiting and reacting to what they do, and Levitz thinks it'll be better to do the latter, which means they'll need to set the guard up in a way that they could spot the invaders before they reach the town. Kaiser's pretty sure that the attack will happen in the dead of night, so he decides to put Dart and Levitz on the night guard duty. But while Shauna can fight a little bit, she's not a soldier, so he thinks it'll be better if she stays out of this type of battle and helps get the meals ready for the soldiers. She knows her strengths, so she's okay with that, although Dart's not exactly enthusiastic about eating her cooking since apparently that's not one of her strengths either. Kaiser sends Dart and Shauna out to learn their way around the fortress town. That way they won't get lost when things get bad. Levitz already knows the place, so he stays with Kaiser so he can get the details about their troops. Once they've got a feel for the town, they head back, and Kaiser sends Dart and Levitz to their position at the back gate. Just like he predicted, when night hits, the attack begins, and things immediately go crazy. The good news is it doesn't seem like the Sandoras used the dragon, but they did send a giant named Congo who is more than strong enough to bring down Dart and Levitz. He's about to kill Dart when the woman who saved him from the dragon comes flying in, quite literally, to save him. She activates the red stone that Dart had been carrying around with him, which turns out to be something she calls the red eye of the dragon. It transforms Dart into a dragoon and he easily overpowers Congo. Seeing their giant friend get knocked out makes the soldiers decide that it's best to retreat for now. Congo isn't unconscious for long. He's a little harder to kill than that, but he's not ready to go another round at the moment, so he runs away too. Shauna comes out to see if everyone's okay, and with the fighting done, Dart transforms back to normal and passes out. When he wakes up, he recognizes Rose as the woman who had saved him before since she's back in her regular one-leg covering set of armor. That's twice now that she saved him, but this time she did it because she was curious about the Dragon Eye Stone Dragoon spirit that he had, mainly because she has one too. Both stones glow, which according to her means that the people holding them were born to wield the power of the dragons. They don't glow for just anyone, and only those select few can draw power from them. Rose hadn't known if the stone would transform Dart or not, but if it hadn't, then Congo would have killed him. She seems to know a lot about the Dragoon spirits, and considering the fact that most of that knowledge was lost, Levitz wants to know where she learned so much. The stories he had heard in the castle said it was the Dragoons who led the humans in the Dragon campaign, but it didn't say much else about them. She doesn't tell him where she learned it all, but she does admit that the other reason she helped him is because his little group of friends reminds her of the crew that she used to travel with years ago. Unfortunately, they're all dead now. The conversation is cut short when a soldier comes running into the town looking for Kaiser. He's shouting about the fact that the 7th fort out in the marshland is getting attacked by the dragon. The two knight groups that are stationed there are severely outmatched and they need some help. The dragon apparently had its nest in the forest that's blocked by a place called the Volcano Valud. The fact that the Sandora sent a member of the Giganto race to attack one place and a dragon to attack another makes Kaiser think that this war can't be won by just humans. Rose agrees. It doesn't matter how many knights they send at the dragon, they won't be able to beat it. But a Dragoon can, and between Dart and Rose, they have two of them. Granted, Dart won't be much use if he passes out every time he transforms, so Rose gives him a crash course in all things Dragoon. Then the group heads off to the Volcano Valud. When they get to the place, the very first thing that they see is a firebird, and the thing immediately sees them and tries to attack. They run away deeper into the volcano, which, in case you didn't know, being that close to lava without serious protective gear would have melted the skin off of their bones. But we'll just ignore the video game logic for this one. Shauna starts to hear something calling to her and she runs off, which is top tier stupid considering where they are. The others chase after her, and they find her staring at what looks like a giant statue that's laying in the lava. But the thing's not a statue at all. According to Rose, it's called a Virage, and it's still very much alive. Way back in the Dragon campaign, when the Winglies were outnumbered by the dragons, they summoned their own creature to counter them. Those things were the Virage, and even though the Dragon campaign was 11,000 years ago, the Virage isn't dead, and sensing Dragoons in the area, the thing wakes up and attacks. It's not all that dangerous, probably because it's been comatose for 11,000 years, so the two Dragoons put it down, knocking it back into the lava where it melts away into nothing. This gives the crew freedom to move on further through the very inhospitable volcano. Apparently they aren't the only ones wandering around in the area, because they hear a badly dressed guy screaming for help. I don't know how, but he ended up dangling by his vest over a drop that would have definitely killed him. His name is Dabas, and he's a merchant from a place called Lohan. He had heard that there was something in the area called the Burning Gem. It's apparently worth a lot of money, and since he likes money, he decided to look for it, but a brush with death made him change his mind and he thinks it's about time to head home. Dart and his crew head in another direction and run right into the Firebird that they had hoped to avoid. It blocks their path, so the only thing they can do is fight it. The thing's not as deadly as they thought, so they put it down, clearing their path to the place where the battles won't be nearly as easy. The nest of the green dragon Fabran. And that's where we're going to stop for the day. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.